Hi folks, good day to you. 29th of September. 29th of September. It's a rainy day. We haven't had rain for a long time, so it's more than welcome. I'm just doing, these are sticks which will become later on sponge sticks. I'm just fabricating the stick part of it. Anyway, hope you're doing well. We're going to go over there to the workbench. I'm in the middle of doing a little bit of slipping some tankards in red iron oxide slip, which I've got down there in the bucket. This is an iron slip made from 25% red iron oxide and 75% red terracotta clay. You can actually use, if you were to use the same clay, for example, which would be a stoneware clay, but which these tankards are made out of, you could use that as well. So yeah, just basically dry weight 75-25, and then you want to put it through probably 100 mesh sieve if you can. If you have 100 mesh sieve, if not an 80. So that is that. Let's see. Just wondering whether we should have another light on the matter, on the subject. I can get this light on a bit. Bit of extra lighting, always a good idea. That's it. Okay, that's a bit better. Right, so yes, so these are tankards. Now the right time really to put a slip on a tankard, you do it when it's raw, of course, like this. You don't put it on bisque way, put it on the raw clay. So you don't want to put it when it's just leather hard. For example, I've got some other tankards here, which I don't know if you can see the difference in colour there. I would wait in this case for them to dry off a little bit until they look more like that, what I would call dry leather hard. So they have a little bit more rigidity, because when you dip into the slip, the tankards or whatever you're dipping could become a little soft. Alright, let's move the camera over the bucket here. See how we do this. Yeah, this is not. These are basically, see, just done on the. We don't dip on the inside with the slip. Okay, so I've just about got enough stretch with my fingers to be able to do this. Now the idea is we don't want to get any of this red iron oxide slip on the bottom of the pot. Okay, so we're going to go down, hold and up. Just wait a moment or two for it to drip off, and then over, put it here on the board, like that. Let's just move this a little bit like that. Yeah, I've actually increased the size of my tankards. I've kept the weight of clay the same, but instead of throwing them Always used to throw these 5 3/8 tall. Well, I don't know if it's because I've been practicing or what. Getting more out of the clay these days. I thought I can do these 5 1/2. No, I can even better that. 5 3/4. So these were actually thrown 5 3/4 up from 5 3/8 with the same weight of clay. You know, and they don't feel really much different, but I'm noticing a little bit more of a stretch for me to, you know, to do this. This was part of the operation. So yeah, you can see the looking at the slip on my hand there, I don't know if that gives you any idea of the thickness that it is. You could say it's perhaps a little thicker than glaze, just regular glaze that you'd be glazing a pot with. But funnily enough, when it dries, it doesn't. When it's wet like this right now, it appears thicker than what it is when it dries. Okay. Yeah, I had somebody wrote to me and sent me a photograph of some of these that I'd done sometime in the past, and asked if I could do 6 of a certain style, which I'm going to do now. Well, I did a few of these earlier on. I dipped a few. So I'm going to see if they're ready to do a sgraffito. Let's grab the camera a minute. Let's just go over to over here. I've got to look for a tool. Look for a tool. Yes. So here you see I've got a lot of tools, and they're just on a magnetic. This is something I got at Walmart. You could probably buy it elsewhere. It's just a thing for putting wrenches and tools on in the garage, you know. So you might think of getting something like that for your studio. I'm actually going to take a broken hacksaw blade and going to use that. I had a cup of tea somewhere. I don't know where I put it. Oh, there it is. Right, yes. So you may notice, I'll just show you this. When you do this, what I'm doing here, and I don't know if it's going to come out in the camera or not, but these were round. I put slip on them. I don't know if you can observe this particular one here. Well, let's say anyway they've gone out of round a little bit since I've dipped them. So that is something to be aware of, because the form has become soft, and so you've got the weight of the handle on this side here, which could have a tendency, believe it or not, to pull it out of shape. Plus it's taking on board a lot of water, and that can cause the shape to go out a bit. So in which case, if that happens, just be aware of it, keep an eye on it. And a little bit later, when they're a little drier, you can use a tapered yogurt container, something like this, plastic, works fine. It needs to be, make sure it's tapered. And then you can just carefully put that in, and you can't do it if they're sticky, but you have to do it before they get dry, you know what I mean? Right, where's my stool? Okay. Let's see now, where are we going to put this camera? Oh, I'll put it right over here, I think. Right, and we're going to drop it down a touch. A touch, there's my stool. This is just so you can see what I'm doing. And you can do this. So how we treat these is afterwards, when I've done this, I'm just coming over here to look for something as a sample. Well, I don't have a sample really, exactly like I wanted to show you, but so what I'm going to do is put over the top of the iron slip my usual, you know, white milky glaze as I describe it. Here's an example. This is not. Are we in the picture? This is not sgraffito. This is a faceted form, but nevertheless, it's the same treatment. It's the iron slip underneath first, and then it can be quite attractive. Actually, looking at that, it looks like I'm just looking at the clay body on that, and I'm thinking to myself, is that porcelain, or it's possible I didn't actually make it. That's not my usual clay body. I'm just wondering what it is. It's me who made it because it's got my seal on it, but it might have been made in Spain actually, quite a while ago. That I can't honestly remember. Yeah, anyway, by the by, that is, so just to give you get a variety of different kind of colour combinations. Here's another example. This is an old St Ives tankard made at my grandfather's pottery in England. I've shown you this in the past. This was made in 1966. But again, this is, if I can get the clay off it, this is another example of a white glaze over the top of an iron slip. In this case, the cooler it is, the more grey it comes out, looking like that. The hotter it gets, you get more iron coming through. Like, for example, this one here would have been fired hotter than that one, I'm thinking. Okay. All right. Righty-ho, let's see now. I've got to position this so that you can see it. Let's grab one of these. So once you've dipped them in the slip, and you're going to attack them now with a tool. It doesn't have to be a hacksaw blade. It's basically anything that's going to scrape through to the clay underneath. Okay. So let's have a go here. these are about at the right point, just perfect for doing this. Don't know if you can see that. Okay. Rain is falling. Gosh, it's been so dry lately. I've been in the US 11 years, and I've never experienced a summer like this. Here in the northeast, two more I think. 1, 2. And one more. Okay, let's show that to you. Oops. I know you like to see these things. So, yeah, there's many kinds of ways of decorating sgraffito in this way. It's pretty satisfactory for the most part. It comes out quite nice. So that's that. So I've got to do some, well, I have to wait for those guys to dry off. I've got 3 here that are ready to do. But I'm not going to do that with you now. You've seen that. I don't need to repeat it, I don't think. Oh yeah, I'll just take you over to the wheel here. I did a... yeah, I don't know. There's a couple of forms I just playing around with. T-bowl here with a combed design on the outside, which was sort of combed and then expanded. And then yesterday I just had this thought for this vase shape in my mind. So I thought I must go and flesh it out, you know. Don't let it fester, go flesh it out, go do it, you know. So, yes, it's slightly sort of more generous at the top, but a gentle curve. It's got a couple of lines. Yeah, I just, you know. So, I was actually thinking about a vase in the bottom, right in the very bottom, on the bottom of the pot in fact, making it sort of thicker, so sort of doming it up in the middle like that, right at the very bottom, so it's thick enough, and then put holes into the thick bit at the very bottom, so you've got like a place for like the stems of plants to stick in, and that can sort of hold the stems, rather than letting them just sort of flop against the side here. Have them sort of more strategically held in these holes in the bottom. Actually, I remember at home in the pottery, some old, I forget what they call that thing. Is it called a rose? Or was that what you put on a watering can? Make it sprinkle. I can't remember, but it's the thing that sits in the bottom of a flower vase, where, you know, it's about flower arrangement, isn't it? I guess these days people use that kind of that foam stuff. These are more tankards here, which are they're just drying off. They'll be ready for doing the 1-2 glazing, you know, 1 being first the inside and 2 then the outside. A couple of little lidded forms here. Sort of little cookie jars. So that decoration on there, on that cookie jar, that was done with the beer bottle cap. You know, you just literally hold it against the side of the pot, you know, as it's going around, and it leaves an indentation. Quite easy to make. Okay folks, thanks for joining us. Now, moving on from that, I do have a couple of workshops coming up. One 10th and 11th of October, and then another one in November. I think it's the 7th and 8th. If that grabs you and you don't mind coming along and being taught in person here, my studio, then do that. Write to me and I'll let you know how we're doing as far as open spots are concerned that are left on those workshops. If you don't fancy coming but you still want some tuition, using a webcam, I am doing Zoom Clay. So we set up the camera right about here, and then I have my laptop in front of me, and then you're on your wheel wherever you are in the world, and then we do this you know, interactive Zoom Clay tuition class. They are a good hour. I charge $45. If that interests you, get in touch, write to me and just say, hey, I'm interested, and I'll tell you how to proceed. Oh yeah, one other thing. Here we did a taller jug form with a faceted exterior. This was actually done, that was done with my friend the potato peeler. We just peeled it when it was leather hard. Actually works quite well, the old potato peeler. So that's something, a way of decorating. Moving on, for future videos, what I'm wanting to be doing is sorry, the light's not very good, but making some casseroles and sort of more functional kitchen-y type items like this. I have another one here which I bought just recently at a second-hand shop, which I'll show you. Let's get that, move that guy out of the way. Yeah, this casserole dish was actually made in France, and these are fairly cheap. They're low fired. They are designed to, that's number 14. They're designed to sit directly on the embers of the fire. So the bottom of the pot is very slightly, it's not exactly dead flat. If you notice, it kind of rocks, doesn't it? You can see here by the handle, it's got a little bit charred because it's been also over the embers a bit and got a bit smoked. But yeah, these are handmade in France, and just glaze on the inside. A rather inadequate excuse for a pouring lip, I would say. Other comments I would make about it: it looks kind of thin and rather flimsy, not very robust looking. Having said that, it's not chipped or cracked or anything. So anyway, these are sorts of things that we can make quite easily. So I just thought I'd show you that to you, just for interest. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't put a bit of glaze on the inside there of the lid. He's put it on the outside, but they haven't put any on the inside. I would have thought you would want a bit of glaze just on that, on this area here. But yeah, okay folks, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your company. Got nobody else to talk to. That's not true. Nah, so it's actually nice doing a video because you sort of get to chat a bit, and I like doing that. So yeah, come and join us on a workshop. Come and join me for Zoom Clay one-on-one class, or get a little group together. We do an even cheaper rate then. If we get a number of you, maybe 4, 5, 6 of you, we drop it down so it's not so expensive. Okay? Thank you folks. God bless you. Keep practicing. See you in the next clip. Bye for now.